Hey guys, welcome back to another video. This time we're going to be taking a look at Josh Kelly, who recently just fought Carlos Molina on the undercard of Anthony Joshua versus Joseph Parker. And there's a lot I want to go over in this one, so let's get right into it. Okay, so the first thing I'm going to talk about is the big elephant in the room. For anyone that has seen Josh Kelly fight, you'll immediately notice that he quite often fights with his hands held low or even completely down at his waist. Now, there's nothing essentially wrong with this. You see how he holds that lead hand down. Mayweather does the same exact thing with his left arm. These guys intend to compensate by rolling punches over the shoulder, or by moving their heads, or by bending down at the waist. Now, in no way am I saying it's okay to fight with your hands always low, because you need to know at what point to bring your hands up. Because you see, every time you throw a punch, you leave yourself open, so you need to be able to be defensively responsible so that you could catch your opponent's counters. Now, in order to fully understand how guys like Josh Kelly find success fighting with his hands down, I need to break down the science of the center of gravity and how this applies to boxing. So the first thing I need to show you is the center line and the center of gravity. The blue line you see in these images is the center line of each of the boxers. The red box indicates the center of gravity, by which is always the hips of the fighter in question. Now, the center line is always perpendicular to the floor, regardless of the orientation of your upper body. In other words, no matter if you lean your body off to the side, the center line never moves in relation to your center of gravity. Now, the key thing to understand with this concept is that you can move parts of your body to protect yourself in boxing. The hands, the head, the torso, but some of these things move at different speeds than one another. The general rule is that the further the limbs are from the center of gravity, the faster it will move, and we'll come back to this concept later. But the last thing I want to add to this is that the lighter a limb is, the faster you'll be able to move it. So when you drop your hands in boxing, you decrease the weight distribution at the higher portion of your center line, which will allow your head to move faster. Basically, you'll always be able to move your head, hands, and feet faster than your torso, simply because these limbs are further from the hips. So we see Josh Kelly's hands are held low, which invite punches to his head. The problem is, since his hands are down and he is not at close range, he will be able to move his head at a very fast speed, and as soon as he sees the slightest movement from Molina, he can move his head and counter. So we're going to see Josh Kelly bait Molina to throw a punch. He's going to slip that right hand and then roll under the left hook. Let's watch it again. So as soon as he sees the slightest movement from Molina, he knows to move his head. And Molina takes the bait and shoots at his head. And then you see Josh Kelly counter there. So once again, he slips under and then rolls the left hook. And as soon as Molina throws at his head, Josh Kelly is able to counter him. Here once again we see Josh Kelly with his hands held low, and he's baiting Carlos Molina to throw a shot at him. So here we're going to see Carlos Molina throw a shot, and all Josh Kelly has to do is move his head ever so slightly and come back with a counter. So let's watch that. As soon as he sees Carlos Molina move, all he does is move his head ever so slightly and counterattack him like he stole something. Excellent boxing from Josh Kelly. Here once again we see Josh Kelly with his hands completely down. But why exactly does this work? See, what you must understand is that Josh Kelly actually is further away from Molina than he really appears. See, he's really at a distance where Molina can only hit him with straight punches. So that's going to limit Josh Kelly to only having to dodge the straight punches. Knowing this, as soon as he sees Carlos Molina shoot a straight punch, all he has to do is move his head off to the side and counter. And of course, having his hands down means that he's trying to make his head look like it's open, making it an inviting target for Carlos Molina to hit. But of course, this is exactly what he wants you to aim for, so that he could dodge it and then counter you. Even though the head appears to be wide open, it's going to be extremely difficult to hit if you're not at close range, since the head can move very fast and doesn't have to move much to dodge a straight punch. The best thing to do in this case is go for the less obvious target, which is the body, since it won't be able to move as fast as the head. Remember, The further from the center of gravity a limb is, the faster it can move. The torso is much closer to the hips than the head. The low hands is just to bait headshots from you. So here we're going to see Josh Kelly bait the headshot, and is going to easily slip the jab from Carlos Molina. This time Carlos Molina is going to go to the body, and see he lands a nice jab because Josh Kelly can't dodge it. So here once again we're going to see Carlos Molina back Josh Kelly up. And so Josh Kelly has his hands very low, and there you see the left hook to the body landed by Carlos Molina. See, Josh Kelly has his hands low, baiting Carlos Molina to throw at his head, but Carlos Molina stays smart and throws to the body, and you see Josh Kelly just can't dodge it simply because he can't move his body as fast as his head. And you know, if Carlos Molina threw this hook to the head of Josh Kelly would have either dodged it or blocked it and then countered him. So just some closing thoughts before I wrap up the video. Distance is always going to be your first line of defense. If you've noticed, Josh Kelly does a good job of only dropping his hands when he's at the tip of his opponent's range. Not only does distance allow him more time to react to his opponent's punches, but it limits his opponents to throwing straight punches, which can be easily slipped to either side or pulled away from. Limiting your opponent's offensive options will allow you to more easily predict which punches they will throw, and all you have to do is bait them and counter it. So that's all I have time for this video, but this isn't the last time I'm going to cover Josh Kelly. Next time I'm going to be talking a lot more about what other things he does good, so just stay tuned for that one. But this time we're just going to be talking about why he fights with his hands down and why that works. So thank you everybody for watching, and I'll see you guys all in the next video.
When she burning, I'ma chill for a minute, cause ain't no loving good enough to get burned while I'm up in it. Yeah. And that's relevant, real deal, holy feel. And now you hookers and hoes know how I feel. Well, if it's good enough to give up a proper chunk, I take a small piece of some of that funky stuff. It's like this and like that and like this, and it's like that and like this and like that.